Welcome, New Bedford. Hi, my name is Susan and I'm your host. And today we're going on a journey called Shades to Create. And we have two artists today that are going to share their journey of shades. Many shades that create masterpieces. And here in the studio we have Susan Cabral. Hi, Susan. How are you?
Hi, Sue. I'm great, and thank you for having me too.
Good. Nice. I'm glad that you're here. I am so thrilled to hear about your journey as an artist. Now, I don't know if a lot of our New Bedford family are familiar with your art style and who you are, so can you please kindly just give us a quick introduction of your journey as an artist?
Okay, my full name is Susan Cabral. I'm an artist and teacher. I've been an artist all my life and a teacher for about 40 years. I've been president of art societies, I do demonstrations, workshops. We just had a workshop overnight in a lighthouse, which was fun. And you have to make art interesting and fun, and I do try to do that.
What motivates you to create?
It's usually something I see, whether it's a still life with beautiful colors and reflections and shadows, or it's the values. Values are more important than the color to me, and they are, because you can have a good painting, really good painting with good values. But if you have a painting with bad values and good color, it won't be as good. The values come first, and then it's the color. So, of course, color excites me, values excite me, different styles and mediums excite me. It's all about making it interesting for myself and my friends.
Nice. That is nice. So, did you start your journey going to liberal arts school or the fine arts school, or was this early on? Like, how did you know that a paintbrush and a palette was going to be?
It literally was since I could hold a pencil. And when you're in school, like in the 4th or 5th grade, a teacher had me do a mural. She was the one who taught me how to do a grid. And now that I'm older, I look back at it and say, she must have really thought I was an artist. Because I didn't really know then, but it was really nice. But I know that everybody always liked what I drew, and that makes me feel good. And if I can make people feel good with my art, I think that feeling is contagious. Once you get a feeling of feeling good, that you project it to other people and other things. So I like to make my work make people feel good.
So what's your favorite medium style of painting, would you say?
You kind of have the style here. But my medium is oils mostly, but I know how to do every medium. I know how to do every style, and I know how to paint every object. Early on, I knew that I had to know more than anybody that came to me. So I got every art magazine there was. I took demonstrations, now I teach them. I took workshops, and now I teach them. But I studied really hard, and I'm lucky that if I read something, I know how to do it because I do it in my head as I'm reading it. So I didn't have trouble, but I can't have you come to me and say, how do I paint glass? And I don't know how. So, and it was fun to me to paint things I never painted before, and it made me so excited. It's like skiing down a mountain really fast. You get a huge thrill and excitement of if you go down a hill you never went down before, the excitement of that. So every time I did something new, I get that same feeling, and I don't have to worry about breaking an arm or a leg going down a hill skiing.
So with when you teach your students, I'm assuming it's an array of ages and intellectual phases as well that they're at. So do you just take them where they're at, or do you start from scratch with the techniques and the tools of training?
I do try to teach them a couple of basic things, like the 5 value tones, so you can remember light and shadowing if you want to use it. There's all different styles. There are styles that don't use it at all. But if you want anything to look dimensional, you'd need to know those things. So I will teach that first. I try to teach perspective. I try to teach anything I think you're going to need. And of course, different mediums. I like everybody to try. You don't know if you're going to like something better if you don't try it.
That's true. And I think a lot of that way of doing and thinking you can apply in life as well. You won't know until you try, you know. But along the way, did you have a lot of support?
My husband is great support, I have to say. My friends are great support, my students, my family, teachers, everybody's been very supportive and helped out. And I like to do the same for my friends and my students, be supportive and help in any way I can.
Do you, till this day, feel that, or do you, I should say, still take art lessons from other artists?
Yes. Oh, yes, of course I do. It's all about staying ahead. So I still take classes, and sometimes I learn something new because I've been doing it for so long, and sometimes I don't. But I also learn when I take a class how a student feels, and I don't ever want to forget how a student feels.
And that's important, to learn both perspectives from a student as well as the teacher.
And I learn what I want from a teacher when I'm there, which it all works out.
That's nice. That's great. A nice way of combining different ways of approaching people and communicating and how they can flourish in their own way. So, do you also have a lot of your artwork in contests, or do you have them in galleries?
I had them, in art shows everywhere. When I started, I did a lot of shows, dragging my paintings everywhere. Now I do a show once a year with the South Coast Studio Tours, and people come to my studio to see the paintings. I'm in 3 galleries. One is on Martha's Vineyard, one's in Paint and Aram, and one is in Mattapoisett. I do still show my work. I'm still an artist. I didn't want to give up being an artist to be a teacher, so it was always juggling, and family does come first. Those were hard words to say. But they do.
Like, do I paint
balance?
Or do I spend time with the family?
Yes, and I love my family, like I said, because they're wonderful. But and they're very good. I mean, I love painting. They know that, and I have to do it. I have to. I'm dead without it. I can't explain it.
It's who you are.
Yes.
It's who you are. Is there a particular painting that is your favorite one? Do you have one that you painted yourself?
Every time I have a favorite one, I sell it. And my favorite ones, every once in a while I say, I'm going to keep this one. I'm never selling this one. I'm keeping it no matter what. And they're all gone. So I've got to get a new favorite.
Well, that's good. That is really good. So can you just tell us a little bit about your paintings that you do have here?
Most of these and that are done in layers. And I don't think or know if you can see the sky, but the layers it starts with orange, I layer the green over it, the yellow over that, and it gives it a dimension and a feel as though you can stick your hand right into the sky. So that's how I like to paint most of the time. But I do get bored and do crazy stuff because I have to stay interested, exciting, and doing new things. So I don't do the same style all the time.
So what's crazy to you?
Crazy to me would be abstract because I don't do it often. So to me that's, okay, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to play.
Is that out of your comfort zone?
Not anymore because I've been doing it for so long and I've done so much. Because I've done sculpting, wire sculpting, wood carving, and even stone carving. I went to Virginia to take a stone carving class.
That's nice.
So that's the other good thing about my job. I get to travel.
Yeah, and you get to meet different people.
Yes, and take classes and learn more. It's all about the learning.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it is. So, with the children, because you did teach children,
I did, yes.
and what did you learn from their perspective?
Wow, I love children so much. I always loved children. But what I liked about them is they weren't afraid to do anything. And they were excited about everything. In fact, I had one little girl, this is my crazy part. First day of class, I give you computer paper and a Scotch tape. And I say, you have to sculpt something with that, just that. And I got sculptures you would never believe. I had one little girl tell me that she's going to, her sculpture will be a storybook with the page opened up and characters coming out of the page. And she's little, and I looked at her and I'm like, wow, that's really nice. I can't wait to see it. And you know what? She really did it. She had a princess with a gown made out of all paper and Scotch tape, coming out of one of the pages, and there was something else coming out of the other side of the page. It was amazing. I can't even believe what they do. I had lions with manes and birds, all out of paper and Scotch tape.
Wow.
I don't even know if the adults could do it. I have to do it with my adults. I'm going to do that with my adults.
The basics. But look, it's all about imagination.
Yes, but adults don't always, sometimes they don't want to do new things. Once a year I do a step-by-step, so they can learn my technique if they want, but I could do a step-by-step with the paint all thick too. That would be fine. So, or different, I do it in acrylic sometimes. So it's just fun. All of life's fun, and it should be.
Exactly. So all of this was done in oils, correct?
These were all oils, yes.
All oils. And I'm assuming that was still life?
Yes, I set that up. I owned the bowl, everything.
So do you have, do you also do photography as well?
You have to, yeah. You really do have to. So, and I love doing that. My husband and I will go on vacation, and I get to pick places to photograph.
So, how would you say that art influences society, or how does it impact society from your perspective as an artist?
What I like about art, when I think about how it affects society, it's a form of communication, and it's a history of life from the first drawing in a cave. You see all of history, you see how people dressed, you saw things they did, and how things change, how clothing changes, how styles have changed, mediums have changed, everything has changed. So it's a good history of everything. It evokes feelings, and good or bad, and it projects, it brings in memories. You'll look at something and you'll think, I've been there before, or I remember that scene, I like that. So it does a lot, really, and it's a form of communication. You can write on a painting things that you feel. It just is the perfect medium, I think, because you can do so much with it.
And I think it's a safe haven where you can express yourself freely, that you're not, harming anyone and stepping on any lines. It's just being in the moment and expressing your emotions, which I think it's helpful for people to do. I think it helps us to do that. It's almost like another form of meditation in a way.
Oh, it definitely is. The hours go by quickly when you're painting. You don't even realize it. And your brain goes somewhere else where it feels really good. And I think that's why I have such a need to paint, is my brain really loves it and really wants it and absolutely needs it.
So what, for every time that you paint, regardless what it is, what the subject matter is, what has it taught you, this journey?
One of the things I love about painting and this journey is that you can make a mistake and it's okay. mistakes can always be fixed or changed. I think it's taught me not to worry, and it should teach us not to worry. When you do a picture, it doesn't matter. Not everything matters. Doesn't have to be perfect either, because I tend to be a little bit on the perfection side. I like that I can say that I'm not worried about being perfect. I'm not going to copy it, my photograph perfect. Usually there isn't one I can copy perfectly anyway. There's always something I have to change, or colors that I change. Sometimes you start out with an underpainting and it ends up a totally different color from your photograph because you like it when you start it. So yeah, it's made me feel happy. Once in a while you can get in a slump where you just can't find time to get in there, and once you realize it, you make sure you do get into paint. What else have I found? You have to be able to take criticism, and it has to not matter. If you paint for yourself, and I always do, and I want everyone to paint for themselves, then I don't care what anyone else thinks. I always felt like if I painted for me, I'm happy. If somebody doesn't like it or thinks it's wrong, I don't care, because I did it for me. I didn't do it for anyone else.
How did you get to that point that you were okay and you didn't let it bother you, the criticism, or how did you do that? Because not everybody has the...
I'm fortunate enough to not get a lot of criticism, and I do know a lot because I've been reading and preparing and doing this all of my life. So I know a lot, and that will make you feel not intimidated to know that you know what you're doing and what you're talking about. So that helps me get through it. And even with the children's classes, I remember they all want to win an art show. And if they didn't win, I'd have to explain why. And I would have to explain, like, you could get a judge that likes cats a lot, and you don't know why yours didn't win, but there's this beautiful picture of a cat that won and yours didn't. It can be that that judge just liked cats. So, I mean, even though you're judging on a lot of other things when you judge a painting, but I'm talking about children's classes. So it was hard to explain to them and tell them that it's okay to not win, and that's the hardest part, because everybody wants to win, even me.
So Deirdre, tell me about your journey as an artist, and was this something that you always knew you had it in you to be an artist, or was it later on in your adult life that you found out that you had a spark of an artist?
So I feel like I always kind of knew. I mean, as a kid, I would always be the kid, with crayon in hand, drawing on the walls, as kids do. Oh, my mother loved me. In school, it was always doodling on the papers. I was always the kid that was drawing. And I mean, I started taking lessons with Susan Cabral. I was about 7 years old, and I still take them with her today. So it's been quite a few years now. And I don't know, it's something that's always been with me.
So the growth, have you seen a tremendous growth in your style?
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, from pre-Miss Cabral, with my 6-year-old self doodling, it was definitely a big difference from starting with her and growing as an artist with my style, with playing around with different mediums and compositions, and then going into school and taking high school art classes and learning different concepts of art as well, instead of just how to do it. And like, I'm an AP art student now, where Beautiful. I'm taking an AP class, and you have a new project every week, and it's a stressful one, but it's teaching me a lot. And even just in the few weeks since school started that I've been in this AP art class, my teacher, even Miss Cabral, because I'll take them into her class and work on them then. we've all just seen just a big growth in my work and my style.
And how would you describe your style?
So I like to go into realism. I like the mystical, like magical kind of realism. I mean, like it might look, it looks real to a point, but it also has that air of just fantasy.
Mm-hmm. And that was created with colored pencil?
Yes, this is my my colored pencil piece.
And do you find it easier to work with the colored pencil or oils, acrylics, or sketching?
So I have worked with many mediums, and that is partially a result of Miss Cabral. I've learned so much from her, and just the different mediums I've used. Like I've taken charcoal workshops, I've taken oil painting lessons from her, acrylics. Colored pencils are my main medium, but I actually only have one of those with me today. I've dabbled in oil, acrylic, charcoal, clay. I've done sculpting with her. I feel like I've done every medium under the sun, even if I really haven't. And I find different joys in each of them. Each of them holds a different place in my heart, and I am able to adapt to each of them, and they each show my style in a different way.
So that is fascinating.
Yeah.
So you're learning about yourself, and how nice that you can be able to just pivot and really reflect to see how far you've come.
Yeah.
And do you feel that sometimes you get intimidated with certain
Definitely.
approaches?
Yeah, I mean, with different like dynamic compositions where it's something I haven't really painted a body in this position before, or oh, I don't really know if I'll be able to grasp all of those values in one piece, or you know, that looks a little weird, I'm not entirely sure how to change it. So I mean, there's always going to be challenges, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Is overcoming them. And even just the mindset of, oh, this is really hard, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And instead of going, oh, well, this is too hard, I don't know how to do this, it's, well, how can I find a way to make it work? How can I find a way to get around this challenge and overcome it?
So what is the way for you that works for you? What does that
Diving
look
right
like?
in. Going out with different sketches and sketching out different compositions and finding one that's difficult and pursuing it. And I mean, it really just comes down to getting it done. Just once you start, it kind of flows, and there's a lot of times where it hurts, and it's hard to get through, and it's hard to push through. But I always love it so much more in the end because I know the work that was put into it.
Do you find that being that artist that comes across the goals, the objectives, and the challenges, do you sometimes find that your art is reflecting your reality?
I do. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it does a bit of both, where it'll both reflect my reality, and then sometime it'll reflect what I want my reality to be. So kind of more like a fantasy, like in my mind.
Like a manifestation?
Yeah. Like a manifest, that's a good word.
Do you find it easier to be hand in hand with your journey of life because you have the upper hand through the lessons and the challenges through your journey of an artist?
Definitely. Even more so with my AP art class. Right now I'm working on a series on religion. It's my journey with religion.
Oh my goodness.
And I start with this piece with childlike innocence with religion and how it's something my family holds highly and how I should as well. And then I have one piece where I'm starting to turn from and question. I have one that I am just finishing up now where I'm turning from and completely breaking away from religion. I'm going to have one at the very end where it's going to be my contentness with religion and turning back and having a stability in it. And I think art is just a fantastic way to get through those hardships and help them reflect, help you reflect and get through them.
That is awesome. That's awesome that you can do that, you know?
Yeah.
But along the way, who's been supporting your endeavors as an artist?
Everyone. It feels like it's just been everyone. I mean, Miss Cabral has been the staple through it all. My parents' staples through it all. I mean, from 7 till I could drive, it was my parents that would bring me there every week. And I mean, you got to take something for, you know, washing the crayon off the walls, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I didn't get completely chewed out, you know, when I'm drawing on the walls over there. It's just kind of, okay, now try a paper instead next time. So, I mean, it's never been, I've never been punished for doing art. I've never been, it's always just been accepted. Yeah.
Accepted.
And just, yeah.
So do you find that your group is growing in the art industry? Do you find yourself more and more connecting with artists, or do you have a balance of both, non and artists?
I definitely have a balance. You know, I have that one circle of friends where all we talk about is art, and you know, it's, oh, this project was so hard, what are you going to do for your next one? And it's, or I'll go to Miss Capral's art class where we're all talking about art and how to get through certain challenges with our pieces. But then I do also have my life outside of art. And I think it is really important to have a balance. Yeah, like this is definitely a hobby for me more than it is a career. But I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that this is something that I will always pursue, even if it isn't in a career fashion.
That's cool. So what do you think you're leaning? Where were you leaning to as a career?
I really want to get into psychology. I think it's so beautiful, and you can do so much with it. And even there, I mean, psychology, that's, even relating it back to art, that's a
art
whole
therapy.
new field.
Art therapy is a big thing. Yes. Yeah. That is fantastic. So are you by any chance just working on a portfolio, or do you do art contests? Do you sometimes dabble in exhibitions?
So, yeah, I've had my work in a few galleries for shows. I've just different places. It's never really been like I have one gallery that holds all my work, or but I've been working on a portfolio, especially through the art classes in school. They're really helping me get a good one together, and I'm interested to see myself where that goes.
Do you ever see yourself, if it lines up with your college curriculum, traveling overseas just to get a different perspective of art? And
so I would love to travel. I think that would end up being after college. I don't think that would be during. I do want to stay local for college, but I do want to travel. I do want to see the world, and you know, I want to go places. I want to see different scenery. I mean, even just the drive here, going right on the water, and it was such a pretty drive. Like I don't know. I want to see everything. Just
take it all in. Because I really feel that the world itself is a tremendous canvas that I think we take for granted.
Oh, definitely.
And I love how the earth, no matter what the adversities are, that somehow she finds that strength to muster up a whole new set of blossoms for that next season.
Yeah.
And I love autumn, because autumn, how it's so fiery.
Yeah.
With those, you know, burnt sienna, the orange and red and yellow, and at the end, how it begins so vibrant, but at the end, it just dries out. But even
into a piece.
Yeah, a piece that for some people would be like, oh my God, it's dead, but it's so peacefully beautiful
Yeah.
that it just transitions into that slumber of hibernation,
Yeah.
of being that hermit to go within to find, okay, what else? What have I
Yeah.
learned? How far I got to, and where am I going now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think her rhythm is, I think she's an artist herself.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that about Mother Earth. She just teaches in so many cycles if you just stop
Yeah.
to take it in. So thank you, Deirdre, for sharing your journey of shades. And to New Bedford, I hope that you find it in yourself to start somewhere, look within, and just take that little mustard seed and let it expand into something so beautiful, because not only will it enrich yourself, but also everyone around you. Have a wonderful day. Till then, bye, New Bedford, and thank you.